Hey, what's up, people? This is Mac, coming to you live from somewhere in America. You know, the voice crying in the wilderness. So first and foremost, let me say, go out and register to vote. I understand that, midterms is a year away, but why not go ahead and make sure that you register to vote so you can be sure that when the day comes, you can just slide your little ID and you'll be all right. All right, so boom, check it. The reason why I'm doing this video today, and this is not the first video I've done, there are other videos and there'll be other videos coming, is because and believe you me, I don't want to be disrespectful. I really don't want to be disrespectful and try to be condescending and talk down to you like you're a child, like the person listening to this is a child or anything like that. But I myself feel disrespected by the things that have been going on. I feel like I'm fed up with it. I feel like my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents have been disrespected. I feel like every service member that's ever worn the uniform has been disrespected. I feel like everybody in the civil rights movement has been disrespected. I feel like, every black inventor, you know who's been doubly disrespected? While I take this little time out. All right. I can't remember the guy's name. All right, but he created the first open heart surgery to save people's lives. But because of the color of his skin, he couldn't get that surgery because it was only able to be performed in a white hospital. That's being disrespected. But I feel even more so disrespected because of the arguments that I see all the time. I'm gonna be honest with you. In every election that I have voted in, I have voted Democrat. Why? Well, that's something I'm gonna go into in a different video. Okay. But my point is that the idea of $15 an hour minimum wage is driving some people crazy. It's driving them absolutely bonkers right now. All right. Now, I've done research. And if you follow me on Facebook, you can see the research that I've done because I posted it before I did this video. Because I want to make sure that I give full transparency to where I get my information from so that you can follow along. All right? Because a lot of times we see the same information, but for whatever reason, we process it a totally different way. All right, so back to the $15 minimum wage. All right. First and foremost, we need to understand that there are states that have way higher minimum wages than there are now. There's numbers that state that the poverty line is actually for one person is like $12,000. Now you tell me, we're in America, you can get by on $12,000. I mean, I understand. Hey, wait, if you are living bare bones, you got a cell phone, but it's like not the new cell phone. You either have a bike, ride public transportation, or got the brand new busted. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real now. $12,000 a year isn't anything. You know what I mean? So the other argument is that if you raise the minimum wage, then everything else is going to cost more. Well, that's just a myth that's been perpetrated by the corporations because they don't want to give up a penny. I'm going to show you evidence of that, right? Watch this. Okay, so 10, maybe 20 years ago, I had the same argument with somebody when they were trying to raise the minimum wage from $7 an hour to $10 an hour. Now, that was struck down. They said, no, we're going to keep it at $7.25 or whatever it is now. And where did that $3 go? Well, that $3 went into the pockets of the rich. So at the end of the day, who are you really vying for? Are you for the everybody in America, or are you for that top 1%, that top 5%? The other argument that I hear is, or one that I heard recently, was what did their skills set do to prove that they need to be paid more money? Well, one study that I researched said that if the minimum wage was actually tied to productivity, at this point it would be $24 an hour. So, I mean, I'm not understanding that part of the argument if it's for their productivity, because the minimum wage has been set. Like I said, I had this argument 20 years ago, so to speak, about this same situation. So that's not a viable argument. Um, the other thing that I heard recently is things will. That's how things are, and things will be the same. And I laugh at that because, like I said, 20 years ago we had the same conversation, and these same people who are making the same argument now have the same opinion about it. So of course it's not going to change. I mean, if me as one person is going up against two other people, right? And both of them decide to go counter to my argument, then that's -1. You see what I'm saying? All day, right? Because my vote counts, the first person vote counts, so our votes cancel each other out, and then his vote comes in next as a nay, right? So sure, things are not going to change because people don't see the possibility of it changing. And that's why I said in my opening that I hope everybody goes out and votes. Because actually, if you vote honestly and you've done your research and your homework about the candidate that you're voting for, then you'll be able to vote for yourself and not for the 1% or the 5%. Now, again, this is an argument that we've had forever. All right. But at the bottom of it all is the fact that we are under the oppressive weight of trickle down economics. Now, follow me with this, okay? Just listen to me for a minute, all right? Right now in America, there are people who would rather be on unemployment than work for $7.25 an hour. Okay. And you've got people that are screaming their heads off, oh, the lazy SOBs and yada, yada, yada. But think about that from a business perspective. Okay. If I can do less work and get paid more money, why would I work harder to kill myself? Okay. But what that does is that causes companies to have to value their employees a little bit more because, hey, listen, if I'm just going off some things. Let's just say if I drive the school bus and I'm dealing with unruly kids every day, all right, but I can go to McDonald's and flip burgers to live. Yo, listen, y'all gonna have to either come with some money or I'm going to Mickey D's. Now, I don't mean the product place. I just thought about that, but you know what I'm saying? It's real. You know what I mean? So $15 an hour, and on top of the fact that there are other states that have higher minimum wages than $7.25, and there are places that actually, no, matter of fact, let me back that up, okay? Because I was just thinking about the fact that about the cost of living, and I think that there were only like 2 states in my research that pay people enough to live. Like I said, the federal poverty line is $12,000 like we spoke on before. But how far can $12,000 a year, $12,000 a year now, $12,000 a year get you? Now, as I said before, excuse me, I'm sorry, we're stuck under the weight of trickle down economics because we believe that, all right, well, we can't let other people get paid more because then our jobs are not worth as much. Well, see, okay, yeah, I see how that could be a problem, but now you've got room to negotiate because, again, you can say, listen, here I am doing this job. I can go to McDonald's, or I'm sorry, I can go flip burgers. I can go to a restaurant or something like that and make $15 an hour. So, I mean, what is my motivation to stay here? So it will cause people to force companies to be competitive for their work, their worth. And see, this is what I say about trickle down economics, how it needs to be turned on its head. And this is one of those fundamental pillars of how we view a society. Because I hear this argument about minimum wage workers, but minimum wage workers only account for like 2% of the workforce. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not really like you're influencing you're making a whole lot of big influence. But think about what the difference is from somebody making $12,000 a year to $32,000 a year. I mean, think about their life. What would they be doing differently? They'd be spending that money. Where would they be spending that money? Into the economy. So they'd be going to the burger joint. They'd be going to the movies. They would be going here. They would be going there. You know what I mean? They would be putting money back into the economy. All right. But we look at it from the perspective of looking down instead of looking up, where, if I'm working as a stock boy or I'm working in the mailroom at a law firm. Well, now I can negotiate a little bit because you need people in the mailroom, right? So if you want me to work for you, then I'm going to need a little bit more money. And guess what? It's not like they don't have it. Because remember what I said previously, that 10 years ago we were talking about an extra $3 and corporations and other entities absorbing that $3. Now we're talking about another $8. So that's going in the pocket too. So, you can miss me with that. When I see people who got helicopter yachts for their yacht, yo, listen, that's trickle down economics in its finest. Mm. And that is blatantly disrespectful to everybody who's come before us. All right. Why should capitalism only work for the rich? So, boom, check it. I have been hearing all over about this, the difference. Okay, let's start here. The difference between the people involved in the riots in 2020. All right, there are two distinct groups. All right, I'm not going to go into the politics. I'm just going to deal with the fact that one group was, if there was violence. I'm not going to discount that. At the time I said the violence was wrong, but you know what I'm saying? Being the person that I am, I understand that wrapped in the skin that I'm in, there are so-called social norms that I can't step out of. Now, the people involved in these two riots, as well as other riots that have occurred, were on two different sides of of history, as it were. One side was protesting police injustice. Okay. The other side was protesting a lie. So while both were wrong, but who is more wrong? Someone who defends someone who is fighting for equal rights or violent for that reason, or someone who defends someone who is working against your own country? And I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to dwell on that anymore. Okay. But what I am going to talk about a little bit is police. Now, first of all, let me say I am in a peaceful community. I don't have a whole lot of that carrying on and goings on that goes on in the city. And I'm happy for that. All right. But I understand that I don't live where everybody else lives. Okay. And I hope that if any police officers are watching this, that you don't look at this like an attack on you. All right. I'm not attacking you directly. All right. But I will say that there's been research that I've done that have shown that police officers in certain areas, not police officers, because again, I'm not dealing with the people, the individuals. I'm dealing more with the system and the structure. All right. That's what I would like to deal with more than anything. Okay. So the system and structure is in place such that the police force absorbs large percentages of the city, state, and local budgets. Contrary to popular belief, yeah, police officers may be underpaid, but guess what? They rolling down the city with tanks. All right. They've got assault weapons. They've got the proper protective gear. They've got gas grenades. They've got foam rubber bullets. You know what I'm saying? So that money is being paid for somewhere. All right. So I get what you're saying. That there are police officers that are underpaid and understaffed, which is understandable with the way that people are paid now. But moving on with the police. Okay. Now, what happened to George Floyd and other people wrapped in the skin that I'm in that have happened throughout American history are a travesty and need to stop. Okay? Now, I don't know how comfortable you are with what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. First and foremost, if you are in any way, shape, or form descended from American slaves, you need to act like it. You need to act like you're a descendant from a great and powerful people who endured slavery. You need to be proud of that. You need to try to uplift other people that look like you up. You need to see that guy on the corner and say, you know what? Or that brother hustling, you know what? If he could flip burgers for $15 an hour, he wouldn't need to hustle. Do something for somebody else. Stop being so selfish. But back to the police, though. All right. Again, I'm not mad at individual officers. Well, some individual officers, you can't trust them because, I don't know. They're brought up in this society that praises. I don't know how to say it. I'm not going to anyway. So, like I said, there's data that shows how much police budgets are as percentage of the budget. All right, so I'm not gonna go into that. All right, if you want to look it up, Google it. All right, I don't mean to be rude, but Google it. You'll be surprised what you'll learn. All right, so that being said, the police are called to do way too much. First of all, the job of the police is to show up after a crime is committed. How many crimes do they stop? They catch criminals after they've done what they've done. You see what I'm saying? So that's okay, fine, whatever. Then you have people with mental illnesses. Now, if you, again, Google it, I've done so. If you look at the money that has been allocated for mental health research and care, it is in far disproportionate to the number of people who need such care. Okay? Now, we hear the argument all the time about, about healthcare for all. It's being a problem is healthcare for all, whatever. But the money that can be used for childcare, at least, can be deferred some from the police budget. And that will have a drastic effect on domestic violence. Kids have somewhere to be. You know what I'm saying? They're not just sitting at the house all day under mom and dad and they going through it or whatever, or what have you. You know? See, it's about looking forward. We've been doing this thing the same way for so long. How do we move forward? Well, the first thing we have to do to move forward is pay people above, I'm sorry not to say that, but pay people a living wage. Give them an opportunity to be able to build some savings. What is the American dream? To own a house, to have some land. Give them access to the American dream. And in doing so, you'll give other people the upward mobility. Because I'm guarantee you, like I've said so many times throughout this whole thing, if somebody's making $15 an hour to flip burgers, I'm working as a teacher, an EMT, anything like that. Yo, listen, you're not paying me enough to work this job. So listen, either pay me more or I'm gone. And that increases your standard of living. And then moving up from there. I know people who drive trucks right now who are complaining about the money that they get and the benefits that they're getting. Why? Because the company that they're working for is pocketing trillions of dollars. Why can't the American people get some? Now, again, as I said about the Policing Act, you know, I am all for accountability. Really, I am. I'm cornerstone accountability. Let's go. You know, if you do something, you got to own up for it. You know, that's why I make sure that I try and post my sources. Okay. So that qualified immunity stuff, yo, that's got to go bye-bye. You know, these chokeholds and stuff, yo, that's got to go bye-bye. Once somebody's in handcuffs, I have seen, me personally, I have only seen in movies where people break handcuffs. And as a big person, and I hate to say this, but I've been in handcuffs before. Okay? I've actually been sat down on the ground, on the curb, while the only way I can say it is corn-fed, healthy, stocky white cops stood around me and my three friends while we were doing nothing but just standing outside his apartment building, not bothering anybody. But anyway, so I don't believe that somebody's gonna just break handcuffs, especially not with two cops holding on to him. No. Anyway, there should be a limit to everything. You can't give people too much power. They go crazy. Like a man I'm just squatting a fly, sitting on somebody's neck while they choke and screaming for their mom. But enough about that. Okay. The other argument that I've heard is about this infrastructure deal, this infrastructure plan. Now, I know there are people right now driving through a city street in US of A that have to swerve around potholes. You know those things need to be filled in. The roads, the bridges. There have been so many studies done about America's roads and bridges and infrastructure, and stuff needs to be done. So why are you saying no? You're saying no because it's tied to $15 an hour. Why are you saying no to $15 an hour when it only really affects 2% of the workforce? Why are you saying no to jobs? Why are you saying no to clean energy jobs? Well, because, I mean, think about it. Actually, matter of fact, in the infrastructure plan, it's to replace water lines, basic water lines. And people getting paid to do that, getting the lead out of the water pipes. What happened in Flint, Michigan is something that only happens in third world countries. Real talk. Check what's going on, what goes on in India and whatnot. Don't just pay attention to what's going on in America. Look at the world. We are actually, matter of fact, one of the only few countries that don't offer paid maternity leave. Yeah, it's offered in some states, but it's not federally mandated. Now, I hear people, oh, you can't force people to take vacation. Well, why would you not want a vacation from your job if you're working there 5 days a week, 40 hours a day, and you barely see your family? I mean, who wouldn't want a vacation? Tell me you don't want to. You look me in the face and tell me you don't want a vacation. I'll wait. Go ahead. Get your eyes together. Go ahead. You can't do it. You can't tell me that if you work for 6 months, you don't want a vacation. You can't tell me that. I don't care what job you do. Don't care. Doesn't make any sense. All right, so there are things that are going on in America right now that are unprecedented, that signal a shift from the money being in the hands of the powerful and the wealthy to the money being in the hands of the people. All right, like I said throughout this whole thing, $15 an hour allows you to negotiate. It allows you to negotiate. It allows you to take control of your destiny, your life. Justice and police reform. Listen, that improves everybody's quality of life. And I could take another 30 minutes talking about justice and police reform, and I will. There are other things in America that we need to take a hard look at and say, wait, should this really be like this? Because I understand the fear of $15 an hour. All right. I do. Like I said, in my research, I found that there's evidence that it doesn't just affect African Americans, but it affects everybody. Everybody's affected by poverty wages. Everybody's affected when they work a job, can't afford to feed themselves, and don't qualify for food stamps. I can show you the numbers. $12,000 a year, $12,000 a year. It's $1,000 a month. Where are you living at for less than $1,000 a month? Now that includes lights and utilities. So you work 2 jobs. Yeah, you hustle. Yeah, you missed the hustle, man. Yeah. But when do you sleep? When do you relax? When do you have time off? When do you have time for a family? See, these are the things that a living wage includes. Not just, oh, I got $32,000 at the end of the year. Come on, man. Yo, listen. And so all the people who, again, disagreed with me 10, 15 years ago, the only reason why things haven't changed is because you haven't changed. I've stayed the same.